What's up, guys? Jags Nation here, back at it again with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing / previewing the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans Sunday at 1 p.m. at Houston. Both 0-1 to start the season. So yeah, let's get into it. I was originally going to do a recap of the Jaguars-Chiefs game, but time I got home from the game, I was just pissed off and it was just too hot because it was like over 100 degrees, and the defense played like trash. And then Nick Foles got hurt. It was just like everything just came piling down, and I just didn't want to really make a recap video. And I was going to make a vlog of the game too, but it was just too hot, and I just honestly didn't videotape that much. But I might put a little clip, possibly a few clips that I did take later on in the week. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to be discussing 3 keys for the offense, 3 keys for the defense in order to win this game, and then also offense prediction and defense prediction for the game, like a kind of like a bold prediction. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, both teams 0-1. Jaguars, we lost 40-26 to the Kansas City Chiefs at home last Sunday. Terrible game. Nick Foles got hurt. Gardner Minshew came in but played pretty decent. Went 22 for 25, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Completed 88% of his games. So can't complain too much. Houston, on the other hand, they lost at New Orleans 30-28, I believe. Their offense, especially Watson and the wide receivers, they had a phenomenal game, but their defense just couldn't really get any pressure. Also, they couldn't stop Drew Brees from making a game-winning drive. So yeah, they fall to 0-1. So I definitely think this is a winnable game, but it's gonna be very, very tough. Especially it's the Houston's home opener. We're on the road for the first time, and we have a rookie quarterback taking the helm while Nick Foles is out. Now, if Gardner Minshew can get the Jags to 4-4, that'll put the Jags at 4-5 when Nick Foles comes back about like week 11, which week 11 we are at Indianapolis. So for 4-5, I mean, Nick Foles possibly could make that run. You never know. But yeah, it all comes down to Gardner Minshew. It seems like the fans are hyped about him. The team seems like they're definitely rallying around him. They're hyped, especially the offense. Defense knows that he's capable now of leading this team to scoring points. I think this game right here, I think it comes down to the defense again. Defense needs to show up. They need to get sacks. They need to force turnovers. Give the rookie Gardner Minshew some close field position, good field position. They don't need to be putting them where they're down 14-0. Now he's just he has to lead the Jags. Leads the Jags back, or just putting Gardner in like bad field position. And yeah, but I think Gardner definitely has the skill set. Even though he's rookie, he's very smart. He makes the right reads, and I don't think he's someone that's going to turn a ball over a lot. Knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't, but you never know. Now, speaking of the Houston Texans, their offense line arguably I think is the worst in the league, even though they traded for Laremy Tunsil, who I think is a great left tackle, will eventually become a great left tackle. But our defense line should feast on them, even though Yannick Ngakoue is out with a hamstring injury, which sucks. But Marcel Darius is back, so you'll still have Marcel, Avery Jones, then you'll have Calais Campbell, and Josh Allen gets to start and for Yannick. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a big game. I'm going to talk a little bit more about him later on in like my prediction video. Not prediction, but my prediction at the end of the video. So I think a defense line is going to be fine. Just needs to get pressure. Speaking of their offense, I think their running game, Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson's probably average, maybe middle of the pack. Definitely thought they had a pretty good game for the most part last week. Carlos Hyde definitely ran the ball really well, which is surprising because I didn't see him run the ball well for us at all last year. But no one played good for us last year, basically. Let's see here. Watson, phenomenal player, possibly going to be running for MVP with Pat Mahomes. Just the way he gets the ball out so quick, makes good reads. He's so accurate with the ball and can throw the ball very deep. Then the wide receiver group is arguably, I think, top 3 in the league. You have Hopkins, Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, and Kiki, I believe. Like that's a great four receivers. And then you also their tight end group, I say, is below average. So other than the wide receivers and Watson, I really don't think there's nothing to be afraid of. I definitely think our defensive line can stop the run game and force Watson to make to throw the ball, which is I think something that this defense needs because they need takeaways. They need a chance to get takeaways. Even though the Chiefs threw the ball a lot, Chiefs and Houston offense, even though I think they are not level at all. The Chiefs are up here, Houston's here. Even though I think Houston eventually has a chance to get up there, but there's just so many weapons for the Chiefs. It's just too hard to handle, and I definitely think the Jags can handle the Texans for the most part. I think the defense needs to hold the Texans to under 24 points because I think that's the limit for the Jags. Even though I think the Jags offense is pretty decent, and I think the offense can score 24 points, I don't think they can score more than 24 right now, especially with a rookie quarterback. All right, now let's get into. I think we're going to go ahead and the 3 keys for offense, 3 keys for defense. For the defense, first one is get to Watson, get sacks, at least minimum 4 to 5 sacks. I think you just need to cause pressure, possibly cause some fumbles off Watson, get some takeaways. Just get to Watson, get pressure, make him make some bad throws and bad reads. And then next one is stop Hopkins. It's probably gonna be Ramsey one-on-one with Hopkins for the most part. If Ramsey can control Hopkins to under 100 yards and 0 touchdowns, I think that's a win for us. I truly believe that. They both have mutual respect for each other. It's going to be a great battle. It is every year. Last week 17, Hopkins had like 140 yards on Ramsey. But other than that, I think Hopkins has like 457 yards and 3 touchdowns on Ramsey since 2016. So this is like their 7th meeting. So average, he has about 77 yards a game and a touchdown every other game. So it's not too bad. So definitely looking forward to the matchup. And speaking of Hopkins, so I think it's going to be Hopkins and Ramsey one-on-one. Then you're going to have A.J. Boyd, first of all, is out Sunday. I think they said with his hip. So Trey Herndon's going to start, which I'm actually looking forward to Trey Herndon getting to start. I think he's the up-and-coming corner for the Jags. He had a pretty good preseason, good camp. So I'm excited. So I think you're going to have Herndon and Will Fuller one-on-one for the most part. But I think you're going to have Herndon get some help from the safety position as well. Then you're going to have D.J. Hayden covering the other wide receiver. So I think our secondary can do well if we can control Hopkins. And then that kind of leads to my third key, minimize big plays. Watson likes to take deep shots. They like to scramble with Watson, throw on the run. You need to minimize these big plays because last week against the Chiefs, we did not do that at all. And if we can minimize the big plays, I think that's another win for the Jaguars. If they take shots at six big plays, try to minimize it down to 1 or 2. Last week, the Chiefs, I think, took like 7 big shots, and they got all of them. So just try to minimize that. Hopefully just cut it in half, and I think that's going to give the offense better field position, especially with a rookie quarterback. You don't want to put the rookie where they're down 14-0 or in really bad, terrible field position. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and discuss the offense 3 keys. The first one is run the ball. Run. If we can start with a 7-0 lead, this is when Leonard Fournette comes in handy. He can get 2, 3, 4 yards and 2, 3, 4 yards, then pop off a big one. Just go ahead and just chew the clock up if you're up at least 7-0, 10-0. That's when Leonard Fournette's good. Then he can pop off a big run, possibly score a touchdown, and then kind of put this game out of reach, hopefully. But yeah, Leonard Fournette last week had a pretty good game. He had like 60 yards rushing and like 15, 20 receiving, so like 70 or 80 total. So it wasn't too bad. But we didn't run the ball that much because we were down so much. But from what I saw, he definitely ran the ball well. The second one is protect Gardner Minshew. Last week we only allowed 1 sack to the Chiefs pass rush, and I believe the Chiefs, they led the league last year in sacks, so they have a pretty decent pass rush. Jawan Taylor allowed the 1 sack and like 2 pressures. And then also the offensive line had a few holds here and there. Like A.J. Canton, I think, had like 2 holdings. But Will Richardson at left tackle played, I thought, a phenomenal game. I think he might have only allowed 1 pressure, which for his first career start, especially at a left tackle position that he does not play, he did very well. And so yeah, just protect Gardner Minshew and just give him time in the pocket to make the right reads, right throws, and yeah. And then the third one, it kind of comes with the whole offense, but especially Gardner Minshew. Just don't turn the ball over. If you're, like I said, if you're in the lead, just run the ball. And if you're Gardner, if you're in the lead, just make smart decisions. Take your deep shots, obviously, but go ahead and do your checkdowns if you have to. Throw across the middle, little slant routes. Because the Texans secondary, I believe, is suspect. They do have Justin Reed at safety, who I think is an up-and-coming safety, a pretty good safety in my opinion. Then you have Sean Gibson, who former Jaguar, who last week did not play good at all. But it's going to take them a few weeks to get gelling, like the whole secondary for the Texans. So I definitely think their secondary is pretty suspect, and I think you can take advantage of them with some deep shots and some crossing routes and stuff like that. Now for my predictions. My defense prediction / bold prediction is I think Josh Allen's going to get 2 sacks this game. He's going to get his first career sack. and I think he's going to get sacked later on in the game. So 2 sacks, and that's going to be phenomenal because last week he had a sack / forced fumble, but it got called back for, I believe, defensive holding. That's also when Miles Jack eventually got ejected on that drive. So Josh Allen gets 2 sacks. That's my bold prediction. And my other one is kind of the same one I had last week. I think D.D. Westbrook has over 100 yards. He's due for a breakout game soon again, even though it's week 2. But I think he has a little over 100 yards and 1 touchdown. And I think this wide receiver group's definitely underrated. You have Chris Conley, D.D. Westbrook, DJ Chark, and then you have Marquise Lee, who is out. But then you also have Keelan Cole. So I definitely think it's an underrated group, and hopefully they can get going and get the win. Like I said, it's going to be really hard, but the defense just needs to come to play, try to allow less than 24 points, and I think the offense needs to score at least more than 20 to win this game. And I think Gardner Minshew has what it takes. The fans believe in him. I definitely believe in him, even though it's one game. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but I hope he's the real deal. You just never know, though. And then also, I know the locker room, the players, offense, defense, they all believe in him because he's a very smart individual. He makes the right decision, right reads, and he usually doesn't turn the ball over that much, so that's a plus. And for the most part, I thought last week the offensive line did good, so if they can protect him, that gives him more time to succeed. But overall, I think we have a really good shot at winning this game. But like I said, it's going to be really, really hard. I think it comes down to the defense for the most part, putting Gardner Minshew in good positions, getting either takeaways, returning for touchdowns, just getting takeaways and putting the offense in good field position to turn the takeaways into points, whether it's field goals or touchdowns, preferably touchdowns. But we take as many points as we can get, whether it's a field goal or not. Just take it. And and hopefully the defense does not shit the bed like they did last week. And hopefully the offense continues to grow. We saw a bunch of improvement last week from last year. And I'm excited, though. So, go Jags, and hopefully we get this dub.